I sang for the guys. I met my best friends that I met in there.
What tragic moments happened to the Isley Brothers? How did their careers face tough challenges? Did personal struggles affect their music? Why did some of their biggest hits also come with sorrow?
Come on and work it all out.
Let's explore the painful stories behind their success. What hardships did they overcome along the way?
So they taught us, and I think I started singing when I was 2 years old.
Really? 2 years old?
Yeah.
The Isley Brothers started out in Cincinnati, Ohio. They grew up in Lincoln Heights, a suburb of the city, and later moved to Blue Ash when they were teenagers. Their father, O'Kelly Isley Sr., was a former sailor in the U.S. Navy and a vaudeville performer. Their mother, Sally, was from Georgia. Both parents encouraged the Isley Brothers to sing in church. The family's strong musical influence helped the boys develop their talents early on.
Your parents, were they musical?
Yeah, my mother's very musical, taught music and played for the church and had choirs and what have you, you know.
And y'all sang in the choir
Yeah.
too?
The group began performing together in 1954, taking inspiration from music groups like Billy Ward and his Dominoes and the Dixie Hummingbirds. They became so good that they got a chance to appear on Ted Mack's Amateur Hour, a popular TV talent show at the time. They won the competition, and their prize was a watch. The Isley Brothers' original group was made up of 4 brothers: O'Kelly, Rudolph, Ronald, and Vernon.
I play a little piano, but not that much. I never played on any of the records. And my other brothers, they're real heavy into the music. Ernie's the guitar player, and Marvin was bass player.
At first, Vernon Isley was the lead singer, and the brothers traveled across the eastern U.S. to perform in churches. Sadly, when Vernon was only 13 years old, he was killed in a tragic accident when a car hit him while he was riding his bike. This loss was heartbreaking, and the group temporarily broke up. After some time, the brothers were persuaded to reunite. This time, Ronnie Isley became the lead singer. They decided to move to New York in 1957, with the blessing of their parents, to try and make a career in popular music. In New York, they met Richard Barrett, who helped them connect with different music producers. Their first songs were produced by George Goldner, including songs like Angels Cried and The Cow Jumped Over the Moon. Although these songs were popular in some areas, they did not become big hits nationwide. However, in 1959, they signed with RCA Victor, a major record label.
They were jumping up, you make me want to kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my
Hold
hands
on, y'all, hold on,
Later that year, they recorded their first song they wrote themselves, Shout. This song mixed their gospel-style singing with doo-wop harmonies.
We immediately went back to New York, and Hugo and Luigi was the producers, and they said, you should call some of your friends to the studio and sing that song and try to create that same thing.
The song became a huge success, even though it only reached number 47 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was a hit with fans, selling over 1 million copies and earning a gold disc from the RIAA. Sadly, the follow-up songs they recorded for RCA Victor did not do well, and in 1961, the brothers were dropped by the label. But they didn't give up. In 1962, they signed with a new label, Scepter Records. That year, they recorded Twist and Shout, a song written by Burt Burns. This song became a big hit, reaching number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 2 on the R&B chart. It stayed on the charts for 19 weeks and became one of their most famous songs.
Come on and work it all out.
In the next few years, the brothers moved to New Jersey and started their own record label, T-Neck Records, in 1964. During this time, the legendary guitarist Jimi Hendrix joined the band as their lead guitarist. Hendrix played guitar on songs like Testify and Move On Over and Let Me Dance. But despite their efforts, these songs didn't become hits, and Hendrix left the group in 1965 to pursue his own career. The Isley Brothers then signed with Motown Records and released another big hit in 1966. This Old Heart of Mine Is Weak for You. While their time at Motown brought more success than before, they still struggled to produce more top 40 hits. In 1968, they decided to leave Motown and continue making music on their own terms. The music group went through many changes and big moments in their career. In 1969, they revived their own record label, T-Neck, and made a deal with Buddha Records. That year, they released the song It's Your Thing in February. This song became a big hit, reaching number 2 on the Hot 100 chart and number 1 on the R&B chart. It was the first time Ernie Isley played bass for the group, and the song became their biggest success so far. It's Your Thing helped them earn a Grammy Award and became their second million-selling song. The album It's Our Thing, which included this song, also did well, reaching number 22 on the Pop LP chart. However, the success of It's Your Thing also caused problems with Motown, the label they had worked with before. Motown claimed that the Isleys recorded the song while still under their contract with them. A court case in 1975 found in the Isleys' favor, allowing them to continue on their own. Then the Isley Brothers recorded a live concert at Yankee Stadium, which included several artists. They released a live album called Live at Yankee Stadium later that year. They even filmed the concert in the documentary, also called It's Your Thing, came out in theaters in August 1970.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great, the fabulous, the Isley Brothers, everybody!
By 1971, some new members joined the Isley Brothers. Ernie and Marvin Isley, along with their brother-in-law Chris Jasper, began playing more important roles in the band's music. They first played on the album Givin' It Back, which featured the band mixing rock songs with funk and gospel sounds. In 1972, their album Brother, Brother, Brother was released, and songs like Love the One You're With and Pop That Thang became hits. In 1973, the band signed a new deal with Epic Records and made Ernie, Marvin, and Chris official members of the group. That year, they released 3+3, which included the hit song That Lady, and a cover of Summer Breeze. This album became a huge success and sold over 2 million copies. Their next album, Live It Up, was also a big hit and went platinum. They released The Heat Is On, which featured popular songs like Fight the Power and For the Love of You. This album became their first to reach number 1 on the Pop LP chart and sold 2 million copies. The Isley Brothers continued to release hit albums in the late 70s and early 80s, including Harvest for the World, Go for Your Guns, and Showdown. These albums were all very successful, going platinum and producing many popular songs. Later on, the Isley Brothers started to explore new styles of music, like disco and Quiet Storm, with the release of Winner Takes All. In 1983, they released their final album as a 6-member group, Between the Sheets, which sold over 2 million copies. Members left over financial problems and creative difference. But by this time, the band had started to face some challenges. Financial problems, creative differences, and other issues caused some members to leave. Ernie, Marvin, and Chris eventually left the group and formed their own group, Isley Jasper Isley. They had success with their hit song, Caravan of Love.
Every woman, every man, join the caravan of love.
However, the group faced a lot of tragedy as time went on. In 1986, one of the founding members, O'Kelly Isley Jr., passed away from a heart attack. His death was very hard for the group, both emotionally and practically. They lost a key member, and it changed the way the group worked. Another difficult moment came in 2010 when Marvin Isley, another member, died due to complications from diabetes. Marvin had already lost his leg before his death, which made his passing even more heartbreaking for the family. Ronald Isley, one of the remaining brothers, also faced serious health issues. In 2004, he suffered a stroke. Although he recovered, it was a reminder of how demanding and difficult the music business can be. Ronald's stroke showed that being in the spotlight for so many years can take a toll on a person's health. As the years went by, the Isley Brothers had to deal with changes in the group's lineup. Some members passed away and others left the group for different reasons. Despite these challenges, the Isley Brothers managed to keep making music, even as the music scene around them changed. They went from their roots in soul music to trying out funk and other styles. They managed to stay relevant and keep their music alive in different ways. Like many families, the Isley Brothers also faced conflicts between members. There were times when personal issues and disagreements affected their music and public image. Family bands often have struggles, and the Isley Brothers were no different. However, their ability to push through these struggles and keep performing for their fans made them one of the most respected groups in music history.
I sang for the guys. I met my best friends that I met in there.
For Ron Isley, he lived a life full of luxury and success. During his prime, his wealth seemed endless. He owned big houses, drove fancy cars, and enjoyed the high life with designer clothes and big parties. However, over time, this lifestyle started to catch up with him. His fortune began to disappear fast, and people were left wondering how it all happened. A lot of Ron's money problems came from how he spent it. His lavish lifestyle, full of expensive habits and careless spending, put a huge strain on his finances. On top of that, there were unpaid taxes that had piled up over the years. Eventually, the IRS stepped in, and that's when things really started to fall apart. Ron, despite his fame, couldn't escape the law. The tax evasion charges were serious and led him to prison. This was a big shock to fans, who could hardly believe that a star like Ron Isley could end up behind bars. The same man who once ruled the music charts now found himself in a courtroom facing real consequences. His story went from being one of the most celebrated voices in Motown to a cautionary tale of financial mismanagement. The Isley Brothers, a group that had once been at the top of the music world, saw a major change. As Ron dealt with his legal battles, it seemed like the golden years of Motown were behind him. In 2006, Ron Isley, at 65 years old, was convicted of tax evasion. This means he had not paid his taxes properly for several years. He was found guilty of 5 counts of not paying taxes and 1 count of not filing tax returns. His defense lawyer, Anthony Alexander, asked the judge to be lenient because of Ron's age and health problems. The lawyer also pointed out that Ron had been trying to pay back the money he owed to the IRS, like selling his property. But the judge, U.S. District Judge Dean Pregerson, didn't agree. He decided Ron should still go to prison, saying he had a history of avoiding taxes and even called him a serial tax avoider. The trial revealed that Ron Isley had been avoiding taxes for many years. In 1997, the IRS had taken away his yacht, cars, and other things because he hadn't paid his taxes. He even declared bankruptcy because of this, but the judge decided that Ron needed to serve 3 years in prison for what he had done. He had not filed his tax returns from 1997 to 2001, and even in 2002, he didn't sign his tax return or pay all the taxes he owed. During the trial, Ron's lawyer explained that some unfortunate circumstances led to this situation. 2 of Ron's accountants had died, which made it hard for him to get the documents he needed to file his taxes correctly. But the judge still believed Ron needed to face the consequences.
I did shows for them, man. I did some of the best shows in my career. I can't even explain to you guys how good it was and how great it was.
On top of prison time, Ron was ordered to pay a large amount of money, $3.1 million, to the IRS. This was the money he owed in back taxes. Some of his fans have questioned Ron's financial decisions, wondering if these issues played a part in problems within the band, including the deaths of some of its members. Many people are still curious about how these events affected the Isley Brothers and their music career. Ron's life wasn't just filled with financial troubles. He was also part of some family drama. His brother Rudolph Isley had his own issues with Ron. Rudolph, who had been with the Isley Brothers from the beginning, became tired of the drama. In 1989, he decided to leave the music business and became a Christian minister. He occasionally reunited with the group, but was not there when they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992. The drama didn't stop there. Rudolph and Ron had a falling out over the rights to the Isley Brothers' name. Rudolph felt that his younger brother Ron was trying to take control of the group's money without giving him his fair share. This family feud added to the tensions within the group, and people started to wonder if Ronald was responsible for his brother's sudden departure from the group and even for his death later on. In March, Rudolph Isley decided to sue his brother Ronald over the trademark rights to the name the Isley Brothers. Rudolph wants a judge to rule that he and Ronald both equally own the trademark. He is also asking the court to force Ronald to explain how he has been making money from the trademark and to share the profits. According to the legal documents, Rudolph claims that Ronald has been acting alone when it comes to the trademark. Ronald apparently applied for and got approval for the trademark in his own name, without Rudolph's agreement. Rudolph says that ever since their brother O'Kelly passed away in 1986, they've always shared the profits equally from the band. But now, he says, Ronald is making decisions without asking him. One of the key issues in the lawsuit is that Ronald got exclusive rights to use the Isley Brothers name for certain kinds of music and videos in August. Rudolph says Ronald should have gotten his approval before making such a deal. Ronald filed for the trademark in his name in November 2021, even though they had always shared the profits from their music. This includes things like a big publishing deal worth millions of dollars. Because of all this, Rudolph is asking the court to conduct an audit to figure out how much money Ronald has made from the trademark since he made these changes. Rudolph also wants the court to officially say that both he and Ronald should own the trademark equally. He believes that Ronald should share half of the money he has earned using the Isley Brothers name. This legal fight seems to be a sad ending to their once close relationship. Fans of the Isley Brothers have shared their thoughts on the situation. One fan from Cincinnati, where the Isley Brothers grew up, recalled how they would visit local music shows. This fan remembered how Rudy and O'Kelly, especially, were supportive and always offered advice on how to improve as musicians. They would talk about their tours and new music, but they never forgot their roots and always helped younger musicians. On social media, some fans have expressed their opinions, with one person saying, "Ronald is greedy, family is tight as long as no money is involved. The minute money is involved, it becomes another story." Another fan said, "Money will destroy a family if they allow it. It brings out the worst in people." It's clear that this legal battle has divided the Isley Brothers family, and many fans are disappointed to see the brothers fighting over money instead of staying united. Hopefully, this dispute can be resolved in a way that honors the Isley Brothers' legacy and the bond they once shared. Back to their music career. In 1985, the original Isley Brothers signed with Warner Brothers Records. They recorded and released an album called Masterpiece. This album was another step in their long and successful music career. The Isleys were known for trying different types of music, including rock and roll, soul, funk, and pop. Their ability to change with the times kept them popular for decades. After a split in the family group Jasper Isley in 1987, Chris Jasper decided to go solo. He formed his own record label, Gold City Records. Jasper didn't stop at just making music. He also became a producer and played multiple instruments. Over the years, he released 14 solo albums, including 4 gospel albums. One of his big hits was Superbad in 1988, a song about the importance of education. Jasper's music often focused on positive and meaningful messages. In 2013, he released an album called Inspired by Love, by Life, by the Spirit. This collection included love songs, socially conscious tracks, and spiritual messages. In 2014, he released The One, which brought back the soulful R&B and funk sounds he had written for the Isleys. Jasper continued to release albums, including Share With Me in 2016, which featured a cover of Billy Preston's hit song, You Are So Beautiful. In 2018, he released Dance With You, showing his dedication to creating music for his fans. Chris Jasper also earned a law degree in 2004. He kept making music and helping other artists through Gold City Records. His son, Michael Jasper, followed in his father's footsteps, not only as a musician, but also by earning a law degree in 2018. Jasper's talents reached beyond his solo work. In 1989, he wrote and produced the song Make It Last for Chaka Khan's CK album. In 2015, he released The Essential Chris Jasper, a collection of his most memorable tracks. That same year, he received a Lifetime Achievement Award from German record critics. In 2016, he was honored with another Lifetime Achievement Award from the National R&B Society. Meanwhile, the Isley Brothers continued their legendary career. In 2017, Ronnie and Ernie Isley worked with famous guitarist Carlos Santana to create the album Power of Peace. In 2019, the brothers received another Lifetime Achievement Award from the National R&B Music Society. In 2021, they joined Earth, Wind & Fire for a special music event called Versus, hosted by Steve Harvey. This event celebrated their lasting impact on R&B, pop music, and African American culture. The Isley Brothers are known for their creativity and versatility. They've been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Hollywood's Rock Walk, and the Vocal Group Hall of Fame. They've also won 2 Grammy Awards, including the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. 2 of their songs are now part of the Grammy Hall of Fame. In 2022, the Isley Brothers released a new album, Make Me Say It Again, Girl, proving their music continues to touch people's hearts. From gospel to funk, the Isleys have left an unforgettable mark on music history. The Isley Brothers had a long and successful career, filled with many hits and changes in their music. Even though the group went through tough times, their music still remains popular today. In the end, the Isley Brothers' story is one of talent, tragedy, and perseverance. Through their music, they have left an indelible mark on American culture, and they continue to be remembered as one of the greatest groups in soul and rock music.